Hello everyone, I welcome back you all to my YouTube channel. My name is Rajat and today we are going to start something really amazing. Why I am saying today what we are starting is amazing because there are 2 3 things which are super important in 2025 for your job purpose. Like you should know Python, then you should know machine learning, you should know Spark if you want to become a data engineer or if you want to become a data scientist and a data analyst. So obviously all these skill sets are very important. So in this playlist as of now we have covered Python, and we have covered Python actually only till that extent till which we can implement it in the machine learning algorithms now. So from today onwards, we are going to implement machine learning algorithms using Python, and we would be executing all these codes on the Spark engine. Now question comes, what is Spark? Why we use Spark? There is one more thing like Databricks. What is Databricks? So Databricks would be the platform and Spark is the execution engine. It's like your computer CPU. Spark is like the CPU of your computer. Python is like the interactive language, and on the back end you will be able to run the machine learning algorithm. So this is going to be the flow of today's video, and from today onwards the whatever the video are going to come, they will be completely on the machine learning. So stay with me till the end of whole this playlist and you will be learning all the concepts like regression, classification, clustering, decision tree. Everything will be so simple for you that you don't need to read it from anywhere else. So now without wasting your time, let's move forward and start discussing one by one. Primarily, I have opened my Google. Now on the Google, you need to type Databricks Community Edition. Just look for this. Go on this website. So now I already have an account on this website, but I'm going to tell you that how you need to create account. So this is a community edition. Now, obviously, number one, what is Databricks? Databricks is a company which provides you Spark and Python solution already. So you don't need to do a setup of Spark on your system or any virtual machine, anything like that. So Databricks simply gives you a cluster for free. You can run your machine learning codes free, and you have to believe that you can run all your machine learning codes free of cost on Databricks. All your Python code where you are implementing, like let's say linear regression, you will be just need to run the code in the Databricks and you will be able to do that. You don't need to separately install a VDI or a virtual desktop, anything like that. Now there is a free edition of Databricks, okay, but for companies they take the enterprise edition. It's not free for them, but for a user like us it's free, because the founder of Databricks is the same person who is the founder of Spark. Now for the community edition, as a student or as a learner, I want to get the free version. I don't want to pay anything, right? So now what you need to do, just click on this, don't have account, sign up. Enter all your details. My details are by default coming, let's say, and in after filling all these details, just go down and you need to click on continue. So there is this continue button. Again, this will come. Don't click on any of the cloud platform because you don't want that, otherwise they will take charge. If I click on Amazon, okay, so then it will say that use a corporate email for expert assistance. That pop-up has come because they are thinking that when you are buying AWS or Azure or Google Cloud, so that means that you are a professional person. But we don't have to select that. Just click on the continue without selecting anything. Now this is the continue button. Now what will happen, there a email will be sent to your email ID, whatever you will enter here. Okay, now I'll close this because I do have an account already. Every time you can log in, there are two ways. Either you create a full profile, set a password and enter into Databricks using that password. Number two, what I usually follow, just enter your email ID here, click on continue with email for sign in. Okay, this is very easy. Your account is already created. Now I'll just check in my mobile. Okay, I need to check in my mobile that password will come to my email ID. So I'll just open my email ID. I'll check the password. Now I'll enter that. it will take your password and it will log in into your Databricks account. So that's how a Databricks looks like. This is nothing, don't get confused. This is very simple, guys. This is just like Jupyter notebook. Okay. Now here couple of things are very important. Okay. So for me, it's showing interview question, this, that, so many things, because those are the previous codes which I already have on my account. Now for you, this will show blank. On the right side, you will be able to see your details. On the left side here, this new button is the most important button for you. So when you want to create or you want to run a code, a machine learning code more specifically, just click on this new, click on the cluster. What is cluster? Let me show it to you. See, cluster is very important because in cluster only Databricks provide you the Spark and your memory and your kind of processing power. Okay, so this cluster is nothing, it's like a combined laptop you have on the system. So they are giving it free of cost. It takes couple of minutes, maybe sometime, to open this, because sometime internet speed vary, also the Databricks website, depending on the load they will give you, because you are a free version user, right? So once the cluster will be here, so you will be able to see the configuration of the cluster. Let's wait for a couple of seconds. So guys, you can see the specification of the cluster. So number one, you can give any name to the cluster. Let's say I want to give the name as cluster 1. Okay. Now second thing is Databricks runtime version. So you don't need to do any change here. Just keep it as it is. This says that the Scala version, because Spark is written Scala. Okay. What is Spark? Spark is an execution engine just like your CPU in your machine. It basically processes the data, and Spark can process amazingly very huge size of data. That is the specialty which Spark have. Real-time processing also Spark can do, but we are not working on that. And I personally would recommend that you go for the transactional one, which I am actually going to tell you, because more jobs are there for the transactional processing using Spark, especially for all the big banks. Now here, if you see, the Spark version is this. No need to change this, just keep it as it is. Second thing, instance. This is going to create instance. Instance is nothing, it's just like a occurrence. Okay, so instance is saying that free 15 GB as a memory for you will be allocated on your name on the backend. So what else you want, right? You don't need to set up anything, you are getting a Spark by default. Now if you see here, so there is a already cluster running on my name. Okay, that's why it's not allowing me to create a cluster. And for you, you have to click on the create cluster, so that will work for you. This website is actually pretty slow. Let me show it to you quickly. So guys, once your cluster will be ready, that's how this will look. Okay, so for me, there is a cluster created. Runtime doesn't matter to you. Active memory 15 GB and 2 core are assigned. That is more than enough. Now second thing which we will need is notebook. Notebook is what? Notebook is like a sort of a Jupyter notebook. So you will just create it. Okay, so let me show you how the notebook will look like. Guys, meanwhile the notebook is opening, because I think Databricks is a bit slow. So let's move on to some of the other concepts which are Spark based concept. Okay, so today there is no coding, because I want you guys to understand the concept of Spark and Databricks and how we incorporate Spark with Python. Okay, so now let's talk about couple of things: Spark, then Databricks, which I just ask you guys to set up, and then we have Python. And then fourth thing is machine learning. Okay. Now the point is that machine learning is going to be the key concept. Now Spark is also associated with this. Databricks we also associated with this. Similarly, Python is associated with this. So Python basically is a language. Okay, it's a language to interact with the system. Now the language need to be run on a engine, that is Spark. This is a execution engine, just like CPU in your system. Okay, now what is Databricks? Databricks is a platform which give you by default a setup of Spark clusters, memory all the necessary Scala things which are on the backend, because Spark is written in Scala. So this gives you the whole environment. You don't have to set up any environment variable. You don't have to install separately Spark, or you don't have to do anything simply. You just have to create a cluster where everything is given by Databricks. Now, there is a library, okay, that is known as MLlib. That is your machine learning library, which is used here for all the machine learning things, okay. Now, machine learning is divided into two parts: classification problems, and then you have regression problems, okay. It depends on the data which type of problem you want to solve. So this is the whole architecture. Let's talk about Spark a bit now, because this is pretty new for all of you. And if you guys only want to learn Spark, there is a separate playlist on my channel, okay, which is talking about only PySpark. Now, what is a Spark? Why we are using Spark? I told you that it is an execution engine. It's like a CPU in your machine. Like in your laptop, you have a CPU. What are the features which Spark offer? It offer you in memory calculations. So that's why it's much faster. It has an option of disk also. Like if you want to write something on a hard disk, that takes more time, or if you are doing something in your laptop memory from one place to another place, that is very fast. So the same concept is here in memory computation, which is much faster compared to a disk processing. This is super scalable. Scalability means you can add so many computer with this, and this will be keep on expanding. Now this is very flexible. Flexible in a way that whatever you want to do, like you want to work on Spark using Python, or you want to work on Spark using R language, or you want to work using Java, everything is supported with Spark, okay. I am covering everything in so precise manner because you need to understand the key basics of this, okay. These are the core things which you should know about Spark. It's an execution engine. It do in-memory computation. It's very highly scalable and it's very much flexible. That's why we have Python, R, Java. But in today's video, I want to clarify that my focus will be Python. And when you combine Python with Spark, that is known as PySpark. So PySpark is the Python API for Spark engine. Okay. Now let's move forward a bit brief about, we can ask like what are the component of Spark, or we can define it as a architecture. Now the Spark architecture consists some important things which are like your driver program. Driver program is basically coordinate the execution of Spark. Okay, just remember this coordinate with the execution of Spark job. Then you have a cluster manager. Cluster manager helps you to manage the cluster where your Spark is running. Okay, it allocate the resources to Spark which actually enables you to run your programs. Okay, now you have worker nodes. What are workers? To perform the computation or store the data in a memory. Okay, and then you define task to the workers. So whatever task you are giving, that will be done by this. Now, as you understand, number one is your driver, then you have a cluster manager, then you have a worker node, and then you have the task assigned to them. Okay. Now Python is heavily fast with Spark. The combination is very fast. But one more thing you should know, Scala plus Spark is a better combination, but Scala is very difficult to learn because Spark is written in Scala. That's why Scala plus a Spark runs way faster. This is the fastest method to run. But that is something we would not be focusing. Okay. Now I would say this is enough for you to now to understand that how Spark works. Meanwhile, let me just show you how the notebook look like. I just clicked in the middle before we were going to this discussion, right? Before I was like explaining all this diagram. So before that, we open the notebook, and let me go here in the notebook. So you can see that the notebook has been opened. So this is the notebook where you need to actually write your code. Whatever you will write, that will be executed. If you want to import Spark, there are separate commands which I am going to tell you from next session. Okay. Now for today's session, I am going to wrap up here on this note that what are the key component which you need to learn before moving towards the machine learning algorithms. Okay. So I hope if you like the video, please hit the like button, and if you have any question or concern, please put that in the comment section. I am going to reply you there. If you are very first time on my channel, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much, guys.